Have you ever asked yourself how many pairs you should be trading and also how to select them? Well, there is no right or wrong answer as to the number of pairs you should be trading. You can add a lot of pairs to your watch list, few or even just one. This is very subjective from person to person. So in this video, I'm going to talk about the number of pairs you should trade and also the criteria or steps to take when selecting these pairs. Personally, I've done it all. I've traded a lot of pairs, traded few and just even one, at a point in time. So I'm going to be very neutral in my opinion by looking at the pros and cons of trading a lot of pairs versus one pair. So let's jump into it. So this is the main question: how many pairs should you trade, and also how should you select the pairs, right? So we're going to start with how many pairs you should trade. So let's talk about the advantages and also the disadvantages of trading multiple pairs, right? So the first advantage of trading multiple pairs is the fact that you have multiple options. So now let's say you have like 30 pairs in your watch list, right? Then you open the first pair, you do your analysis, you realize that okay, there is nothing playing out, there is no setup. You can easily go to the next pair and the next and the next until you find something right. So you have a lot of options just to find a setup for the day. So that is the main advantage of having multiple pairs in your watch list. Now let's look at the disadvantages of also having a lot of pairs in your watch list, right? So number one is you can easily lose focus, right? Because you are looking at a lot of pairs. Personally, this is what I used to do. I remember back in the days when I started trading, right? I had a lot of pairs in my watch list. I thought the more pairs I have, the more money I can make, right? So I had like 30 pairs in my watch list, and what I'll do is each and every day I'll just scan through the market just to see which one is which one has a good setup, right? So let's say out of 30 I might find like 10 pairs with a good setup, and then I'll be looking at all of them for the day, right? And at the end of the day, I'll realize that I'll be missing certain setups that I've actually analyzed for the day, simply because I'm looking at a lot of things, right? So that led to me missing a lot of trades because I'm looking at a lot of pairs, right? So that is another disadvantage of having a lot of pairs in your watch list. So my second point is unable to master the pairs, right? Because you are looking at a lot of pairs, it becomes difficult for you to know or understand how the pairs behave. Trust me, each and every pair in the market has its own unique way of playing out, right? How Euro USD moves is not the same as how AUD NZD moves, right? They all have different unique movements, right? So when you are looking at all these pairs at the same time, it becomes hard to master which pair moves like this and which pair moves like that, right? This might lead to you taking low probability setups. So let's say in a day, out of your 30 pairs, you've maybe marked out 15 that you are looking for the day, or 10, right? Those 10 setups that you have marked out, and this is also based on experience, right? I'll mark out the pairs that I'm looking for the day, right? The pairs that I think have good setups for the day, and I used to take them all, not all of them, but I was not just taking one pair at a time. Let's say I see a trade on Euro USD, a buy, I'll take it. I'll go to USD CHF, a sell, I'll take it. I'll go to another pair, I'll take it, because I'm seeing all the setups at the same time, and they're all looking nice based on how I trade, right? And I'll end up losing some, winning some, simply because I'm taking all of them at a time, because I think they are all good, right? So it becomes difficult for me to choose the right one that I need to take at that very moment, right? And usually I always end up taking those low probability setups, and I'll end up leaving those setups that really had high probability, right? And this was as a result of me having a lot of pairs on my watch, right? So these are the disadvantages that I have, having a lot of pairs in your watch list. Now let's talk about the advantages and also the disadvantage of having just one pair in your watch list. So the first one is you are able to master the pair, right? And this is simply because this is the only pair that you are dealing with, right? So it becomes very easy and very simple for you to actually master the pair. This means you know the ins and outs of the pair, you know how the pair reacts at certain levels, you know that okay, with this pair, when we break the support and we come back as resistance, there is always this specific thing that happens. This pair respects trend line, this pair respects patterns, this pair respects, you have been able to master the pair to the extent that it has given you confidence. Whenever you see those kind of setups on that particular pair, you can easily take it because it's a pair that you've been dealing with for a very long time and you are very familiar with it, right? So that is the very main advantage of trading a pair. I'll show you an example. Personally, I like to trade Euro USD a lot because I feel like I've had a good relationship with Euro USD, and I'm really familiar with Euro USD and how it moves, right? So I'm gonna just show you an example of what I'm talking about. So on Euro USD, I've realized that the pair respects break and retest, right? So the pair likes to create a support like that, break the support here, and come back as resistance. And usually when the price comes back to the support as resistance, there is always this particular candlestick that gives me confluence or confirmation that, okay, price is about to reverse, right? That is the bearish engulfing candlestick. So I usually see a bearish engulfing candlestick mostly at the previous support. And usually once I spot this at the previous support, this gives me an indication that price is going to go down based on the statistics of this pair, right? So I've done my due diligence by going back to the past day test just to back test and see, right? So this is what I've done. So I'll show you an example. Let's start from right here, right? So let's find a trend. This is a downtrend, right? We have a support here, right? So as you can see, price broke this support right here. We came back and you can see an engulfing candlestick, right? This is a bearish engulfing. Once this bearish engulfing played out, price just dropped, right? So this is the first one. Second one, we have another support being broken. Price comes for a retest, and then you can also see another bearish engulfing right here, right? So once this happened right here at the previous support, which is now acting as a resistance, price dropped, right? Same thing, we had a new support, price broke this. We came back to that support as resistance. We had that same pattern. This is the bearish engulfing, and price dropped, right? So this is something that has been happening on this pair on the daily time frame, right? So whenever I see such a thing on the daily time frame on Euro USD, I know that, okay, indeed price is going to start moving in that direction I'm looking at, right? So looking at this was the previous support. As you can see, price broke this support right here. We came back, but we didn't have any bearish engulfing right here. So on the daily time frame, I didn't see any bearish engulfing. Price went down, but actually went up and then finally changed the trend, right? So simply because I didn't see any bearish engulfing right here on the daily time frame, I couldn't anticipate that price was just going to continue going down, right? So this is what I'm talking about. If you are going to the upside, let's also look at this structure right here, right? So we have this previous resistance which is being broken, right? This is a resistance, price has broken above. We came back to the resistance. Now as support, I'm looking for bullish engulfing because we are going up, right? So with the bullish engulfing, this was a bullish engulfing. Just by seeing this, I know that indeed price is just gonna shoot up, right? So we create a new resistance at this level, right? Price makes a resistance. We finally break and retest. Seeing this bullish engulfing, this is an indication that price is just going to continue. And this is happening on Euro USD, right? And this is not just one thing that has happened or one time that this thing happened. It has been happening over and over. Let's even go to the current price action. So this is the current price action on the daily time frame on Euro USD. This is a downtrend, right? Just look at this. We have this support right here. Price broke this support. We came back as resistance. What happened? We had this bearish engulfing right here, and what happened? Price dropped, right? We created another support level right here. Price broke this support level. We came back. What happened? We had this bearish engulfing, and what happened? Price dropped, right? So currently we are having this support level. So right here, if price drops, come back to this level and give me a bearish engulfing just like these ones, this will give me a high confirmation that price is just going to continue going down, right? Because this is something that has been happening on this pair, right? So this is what I'm talking about. Just by trading a pair or being familiar with the pair, it gives you the confidence that is needed whenever you want to take a trade, right? So this is the main advantage of also trying to stick with the pair by mastering how it actually works, right? So the next advantage of trading just one pair is you can easily focus better, simply because you are not looking at a lot of pairs. This is just the pair that you are looking at, right? So it becomes hard for you to miss a trade. Let's say I'm looking at only Euro USD or only gold, because these are the pairs I'm focusing on. Even when I go to sleep or even when I wake up, I still have the structures in my head. I don't know if that has ever happened to you before, right? But I could be walking on the street and I know how the structure of gold looks like. I know the price at which gold is at. I know the structures. I know everything. It's like it's in my head because this is what I'm looking at. But imagine I have 30 pairs. I cannot have all these, setups in my head. I don't know how they are looking at unless I come to the chart, right? So because I'm looking at just one pair, it becomes very easy for me to just focus on that pair. When I come today, this is what I'm looking at. If I don't get any trade, I just stay out of the market. I come back the next day. I'm spending all my time just looking at one pair, right? So there is no way I'm gonna miss a trade. So you can easily focus just by trading one pair, and it can also reduce missed trades. So the major disadvantage of also trading one pair is the fact that you are limited to just one, right? So if you are trading and you have just one pair, if the market is not giving you a setup on a pair that you are looking at, let's say you are looking at GBP USD, right? And let's say on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, there is no setup on GBP USD, I can assure you that if you go to another pair, you could get, setups over there, right? But simply because you are looking at just one pair, you are being limited, or you are being left out on setups that are playing out on other pairs, right? Simply because you are just focusing on one pair. That is also a disadvantage of just focusing on one. And I'll show you an example right here on Euro USD. So this is Euro USD, and personally, whenever I'm trading, let's say we're on a downtrend, right? I just want to wait for price to pull back to a certain level, and then I catch this entry right here to the downside, right? So when price is right here, I'm not looking for any trade. I'm not gonna sell here because price is too low. I want to wait for a pullback, and then I'll get this entry to the downside, right? Which means if this is a downtrend, as you can see, this is a downtrend, right? Right here, when price dropped from this level to this level, right? Let's say I caught this trade right here to the downside, right? I closed my profit. Over here, I'm not gonna start looking for buying opportunities. Knowing that this is a downtrend, I have to wait for the pullback, right? And if you look at the pullback from this level, right? Let's look at the pullback from here to here. You can see, let's look at the days as well. So I'm gonna put my cursor here. Let's look at the bottom. This was Thursday, right? So this was Thursday. So Thursday, Friday, I'm not gonna trade. Monday, the market opens, on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, I'm not gonna trade. Wednesday, I'm not gonna trade. That is if I'm just trading Euro USD. The only time I'm gonna trade is at this level, right? So let's say price pulls back to this previous support level, right? This zone, price in this zone, right? So I get my entry somewhere here and I get it. So on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I'm not gonna trade. The only time I'll be getting into the market is, let's say, around Thursday, right? So this is when I'll be getting in the market, and then I'll catch the move for Thursday and Friday. So this means that on Monday, I'll have no trade. Tuesday, no trade. Wednesday, no trade. Thursday, no trade. Thursday is when I'm gonna get a trade, right? And catch it till Friday, right? So this is it. This is what I'm talking about. If you are just looking at one pair, you have to probably wait, and you have to probably miss out all these opportunities that is happening on other pairs just to wait for a right entry on this pair, right? So the same thing happened. I have a sell right here. I make profit. I'm not gonna start buying here because this is the pullback phase. So I'm gonna wait for the pullback phase to finish, and then I get an entry, right? So looking at this, let's see how the pullback happened. So we had price dropping on Friday. Monday, we have price pulling back. Tuesday, I'm not gonna trade. Wednesday, I'm not gonna trade, right? So this is when I caught this trade actually, and I shared in the Telegram. We caught this trade on Wednesday evening, right? So which means Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we are out of the market. We don't have to do anything, right? We catch this trade Wednesday evening, and then we sell it all the way to the downside, right? So this is basically what I'm talking about. You are being limited for trading each and every day because you have to patiently wait for the market to give you a very nice setup on that pair that you trade. So now back to the question, how many pairs should you trade, right? So I'll answer that right after we look at the steps that you need to follow when selecting a pair. So let's look at that. So with this diagram, I really want you to be in agreement with me, right? Let's be practical here. I'm just gonna compare selecting a pair with building a relationship, right? Let's say you want to build a relationship with a lady, right? So what are the criteria or what are the steps that you need to follow, to start a relationship? Now, the first thing that you have to do is obviously you have to meet this lady, right? The meeting point could be at church, at the club, school, wherever, hospital, wherever, right? So there should be a meeting point. Now, let's say you met this person, right? So what do you have to do, right? Probably you're gonna talk to her, you're gonna take a contact, right? So that is the next thing that you're gonna do. Once you have this contact on your phone, obviously you're gonna start a conversation, and that could be by going on a date, or just having a normal conversation, phone calls, or just text messages and all of that. And the main purpose of this is to get to know each other, right? I hope you are being practical with me, right? So after getting to know each other, now you see whether you guys vibe, whether you have the same vibe, whether she believes in the same thing that you believe in, whether you like or dislike the same thing. You try to connect to see whether you guys are on the same page, right? And right after doing that, right after knowing that this is a mutual feeling, this is a vibe, and we can start up something, that is when you begin to have some feelings, right? Because you guys like to talk, the vibe is there and all of that, so you begin to fall in love, right? Right after this, that is when you begin a relationship. So now, what does this got to do with selecting a pair? The same thing, the yellow part that you can see is, let's bring that into trading right now, right? So first of all, where do you meet a pair? Let's take Euro USD as an example. You're only gonna meet Euro USD on a trading platform. Let's say we open our trading view. That is where we're gonna meet Euro USD, right? So we've met Euro USD. We take her contact. That is by adding Euro USD on our watch list, right? So now we have Euro USD on our watch list, which means we have the contact on our phone, right? So now we need to get to know Euro USD, right? We need to start going on a date. We need to start talking on the phone. We need to start calling each other, messaging each other, right? So we need to get to know Euro USD, right? And getting to know a person is just basically trying to ask the person about what she likes, what he likes, your favorite food, Basically, the answers that this person is gonna give you is actually based on what he or she has done, right? So if you ask me my favorite food, of course, I'm gonna think about the foods that I've eaten, and the one that I like, right? So it's basically my past, right? If you ask me my favorite song, it's basically the songs that I've heard before, right? I'm gonna focus on that just to tell you my favorite. So whenever you want to get to know someone, you actually go back, right, to know the past. So it's the same thing. Trying to get to know about Euro USD, you have to backtest. And backtesting is by going back to the previous data or the past data of Euro USD just to know about how Euro USD performs, right? How it reacts at certain levels, how it breaks out, the candlesticks. There are some pairs, they have a lot of wicks, I don't know if it's a right word, but they are wicky, they have a lot of wicks throwing up and down. There are some pairs, they don't have a lot of wicks, Yeah, so you want to get to know about this pair. If this pair respects your strategy, and how many times does this pair respect your strategy? How many times does it play out? So you are trying to backtest. Out of 10, how many times is it gonna play out, right? So I'm just trying to build a relationship by getting to know about this pair, right? So now, after doing all your backtest, adding your strategy and all of that, you get to analyze if this pair respects your strategy, right? If this pair is actually playing out exactly how you want it to play out, right? So let's say whenever price breaks a support, you want to wait for price to come for a retest, and then you get in, right? So when price comes for a retest, as I just showed you as an example, right? Waiting for price to come for a retest, you wait for a confirmation, that is an engulfing candlestick or any confirmation that you're going to get at that level, right? And you get in. How many pips are you going to set? What is the stop loss that you're going to put in place? Are you going to put your stop loss way above the structure, or just going to put it just above the candlestick, right? So you backtest just to see how it plays out, right? And if it matches your criteria, if this pair is actually respecting your strategy that much, that is when you fall in love with the pair, right? You begin to love this pair. Whenever you see this type of setup on this pair by using your strategy, it's always playing out. So personally, I know people who have certain pairs attached to their names, like Nasdaq Killer, gold, master, Euro USD, lava, GBP, USD, whatever, you know, because these people love these pairs. You know, they've back tested this pair, they've traded this pair for some time, and they love how this pair moves. So they are in love with this pair, right? They now begin to start a relationship, right? And starting a relationship is when you begin to place a trade on that pair, right? So you can see it's a cycle. You first add the pair, you first meet the pair, you add it to your watch list, right? And then you go through the cycle. If you want to go in a relationship with a lady, it's the same thing. Just don't meet her, take a contact, and then the next day you are in a relationship. It doesn't work like that. You know, it never works like that. So it makes no sense to add a pair to your watch list without going through the backtesting process, without getting to know about how this pair, you know, works, and then right away you just start trading. You know, in my opinion, you know, it's not really solid. It's only solid once you get to establish a relationship with a pair, right? So this is my opinion, and this is what I believe, you know, should be the process on selecting a pair. So now let's answer the question, how many pairs should you trade, right? We just went through this. You saw the pros and cons of, you know, having multiple pairs and also having just one pair, right? And as I said, this is very subjective from person to person, right? Because in my opinion, if you are trading, you should know yourself. As an individual, you should know who you are. You should know your characteristics. You should know your strengths. You should know your weakness, right? There are some people, they cannot really focus. You know, they are that type. They cannot focus. If you give them 30 pairs on their watch list, they cannot focus, right? So they would like to focus on just few, maybe 2 or 3 or 4, right? There are others, they can really focus. If you give them 100 pairs, they can really focus and stick to it, right? Also, there are people who you know, are not really patient like that, right? So they cannot wait a whole week without taking a trade, right? Once they get behind the charts, they are in a hurry to take a trade, right? They cannot just be trading one pair and be waiting the whole day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, the whole week without even clicking a buy or sell, right? So with such people, they would like to add more pairs to take advantage of, you know, other setups, right? So it's actually how, you know, it's actually who you are, right? So first of all, I would say, regardless of the number of pairs you want to trade, you have to go through that process that I just, you know, explained to you, the dating process, right? You have to go on a date with a pair, right? So you can start by adding these pairs. You can start with one pair, Euro USD. Just backtest that pair. Just get to know that, okay, this pair respects my strategy a lot, right? Guys, you know, react exactly as I want in certain zones and all of that. You know, if it's okay for you, okay, save that. Go on another date with another pair, right? Get to know about that pair, how it moves as well, right? So there is no, you know, set number as to, you know, the number of pairs you have to trade. If you think 5 pairs respect your trading style or your trading strategy that much, you can go in for 5 and master those 5 pairs, right? Watch those 5 pairs each and every day. If you think 10, you know, respect your style, just go in for 10, right? And if you think you cannot really manage it because you're not that guy who can really focus, you now start to reduce it. You know, find out of the 10, you know, how many of them, you know, are really good, or how many of them respect your strategy that much. You know, with everything, you can actually arrange it according to your scale of preference, you know. So basically like that, right? So if you think 20 or 30 respect your strategy, going for 20, going for 30. If you can manage all of them, then fine, why not, you know? So there is no right or wrong answers to the number of pairs you have to trade. Personally, I trade like 3 to 4 pairs because these pairs respect my strategy a lot, and they give me, you know, good setups. As I said, many pairs or a lot of pairs doesn't mean more money, right? Just one pair can make you millions. I know, you know, someone who is just trading with one pair and he's killing it. I know people who are trading with 30 pairs and they are killing it, right? So regardless of the number of pairs you are trading, it could be 1, it could be 2, it could be 300, it could be 1 billion pairs. You're still gonna make money if you can only manage what you are doing, right? So I hope you really got something valuable from this few nuggets that I just wanted to share. If you really enjoyed it, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, so that you can be updated with these free valuable contents available for you to grow in the Forex market. So leave a comment. I'll see you next time. Peace.